Hello, ladies and gents. How are we doing? As promised, here is the all-encompassing information about the next season of Degens FC, which will be taking shape in the next week or 2 weeks. We're currently in the sign-ups, but I wanted to make sure that all this information was readily available and available for you guys to make a decision if you want to tap out and not be a part of this save, or indeed if this is the thing that spurs you into being a part of the save. There are going to be quite a few changes from the last season. Some you may like, some you may dislike. But as ever, it's more of a trial phase for me to see what works and what doesn't work. So, without further ado, as you can see on your screen right now, let's go through it. This save will last 5 seasons, but there is an opportunity and a potential that it'll last more than 5 seasons, and it could go on a bit longer. Now, if in the 5th season we get promoted or we win something significant like the Premier League, if we happen to be in the Premiership or the Champions League, we will continue until we are unsuccessful. However, in the 5th season, if we do not win anything, we will end the save there. It is based on performance. It's based on how you guys do. If you don't perform, we finish after 5 seasons. If you do, it could go on a few more seasons after that. In terms of the buy-ins, 50,000 salt buy-in for people that did not feature in the last season. This is to try and, I suppose, get more fresh faces involved that were not a part of the last season, but also allowing other people that were the veterans that were a part of the last season, that have been around the stream for a long, long time, to also sign up for 100,000 salt. So even if you did play in the last season, but you want to be a part in this one, you still have the opportunity to do so, but it will cost you 100,000. Now, if you can't afford either of those, I've also given an option to buy in with money. £1 equals 1,000 salt. So if, let's say, you're on 25,000 salt and you need to get to 50,000, that would cost you £25 to be a part of the stream of the Degens FC. Any money that you put into the stream, by the way, I do put back into the stream itself, whether it be quality improvements. I'm looking to try and get a second PC to improve the quality of the overall stream, or stream assets, which I'm currently in talks with. It goes straight back into the stream. So if you want to, it's very much welcome, and you'll be a part of the Degens FC. If not, no worries. Yog's already done this. He's already paid the difference, so he will be a part of the next save. I want to make it clear, though, that you will not get any preferential treatment. If you buy into the stream, or you buy into the save, you won't get priority over those that came in with salt. And it's important that you guys know that coming into it, because I don't want you to feel scammed. If you're paying with money, you're in the same position as everybody else that's paid in with salt. We'll be starting in Sky Bet League 2 this time around. I felt like going down into Vanarama National North was kind of a cool idea, but it quickly got stale, and it bogged us down with so many needless games and so many needless seasons of being stuck in the lowest flight of football. I believe we were down in like the lower leagues for 3 or 4 seasons, and it overstayed its welcome really quickly. The fixture list was ridiculous. So many injuries, so much madness going on, and it was fun for a short period, but I just feel like cutting away that fat is only going to improve the experience for everyone involved. So we're starting in Sky Bet League 2, which is more of the professional level of football, at the lowest league, of course, but still you're getting up there. Especially as we're only playing 5 seasons potentially, I want to make sure that we bypass 2 or 3 seasons worth of gameplay and get closer to the Premier League as soon as possible. Now, the way this will work is I'll calculate the average overall points the average player in this league has and give you the same amount of points, which will all be randomized and live on stream so you can see what happens. So let's just say, for argument's sake, that the average player in Sky Bet League 2 has 60 overall attribute points, split between the various attributes and positions that they have. You guys will also get 60. We also have the opportunity to roll and re-roll afterwards to get potentially 70 if you're lucky, but we'll get back into that in a second. So you'll get 60. They will be in tier lists, which for the sake of brevity I won't fully explain here, but I will explain at some point before we go live with the stream, or indeed before we start to roll the points itself, all live on stream. So they'll be in tier lists. Now, the reason I've done this is because last time around, the RNG really hurt some people, and it had some very questionable decision making. So we had strikers that had higher tackling than finishing. We had wingers that had higher marking than pace. It didn't really make any sense. So we'll be going in tier list. There will still be an element of RNG, but it'll be more specified towards what it is that you actually need. So tier 3, let's say, will be the first 30 points of the 60. And this will come down into all the stats. So the first 30 stats will just be randomized between everything. Then tier 2 is the next 20 stats, which will be more specific. Now we'll be getting into the stats that you actually would want to have more points into. And then the final 10 points would be very, very position-specific stats. So let's say you're a striker, that would be more finishing, off the ball, pace, acceleration, composure, these kind of stats. Do you see how it comes down? That's basically the way it'll be done, so that you can have RNG still. Some people get much more fortunate than others, but at the same time, it won't be completely unreasonable where you are just having stats that are awful for your own position, and you're never really ever going to catch up to people that got lucky and you didn't. Now, I mentioned it before there, rolls and rerolls will be available. So after the 60, again, it's just an example. I'm not sure if it actually will be 60 yet. I haven't done the calculations. But then you'll get an extra chance at a 10 roll, which will put you up to a 70 in this case. They'll cost 10,000 salt for a reroll. The way this works is you get one roll for free. Whatever happens, you will get a roll. However, before you do your first roll, you have to tell me if you want a reroll and to pay 10,000 salt. If you do, after your first roll, you'll have the choice to stick with what you've rolled between 1 and 10, or to twist and to roll again. So let's say that you rolled a 2, and you bought a reroll ahead of time. You can now roll again and potentially get 10. However, if your first roll you get, say, an 8, and you decide to risk it and roll again and you get a 1, you now have to stick with the 1. So you see how that works? It can very easily turn on you just as easily as it can help you out. Those that fall behind, similar to Season 1, will be given 5 to 10 rolls and a chance to catch back up again. We saw this happen with a few people, ended up getting game time because of it. So we're talking a few seasons through. This won't be happening very early on unless someone gets really unlucky. But that's something to keep in mind. If you do fall behind, you're never completely out. You will still very likely get games in the future, especially as injuries and suspensions are always coming around the corner. Now, this is where the biggest changes come in. This is where things get exciting. For me, at least, I'm really looking forward to this. So we had adaptive stats in the last save, where a hat trick of goals or assists, or the goalkeeper getting over 8 is automatically a +1 to a point of your choosing, which was only once per season. So if you had a hat trick, you got like a +1, you could put it into finishing or whatever it is that you so chose. However, in the interests of equality, I'm now going to be taking away a point if you screw up. So if you get a red card, a suspension, an own goal, or a performance below a 5.5, that's -1. You lose a point. But the difference here is you won't get to pick where you lose the point from all of your attributes. It will be more condensed and more refined down to attributes that you actually need for your position. So you are getting punished. Because let's be honest, people will just take a point away from an attribute that doesn't matter. If they're a midfielder, they'll take a point away from maybe corner kick taking when they're never in the contention of being a corner kick taker because their corner kicks are so low. Now you're forced to make a difficult decision, or it can be randomized. So, for example, if you're a goalkeeper, you would be choosing a -1 to handling, positioning, or reflexes. A striker will be picking a -1 to finishing, composure, or pace, or acceleration. A defender, -1 to tackling, marking, or heading. A midfielder, a -1 to passing, vision, or tackling, etc., etc. You get the gist of it. If you play bad, you get punished. It won't stack up, though. It's once per season, the same as gaining a point. You can lose one. But there is a way around this. The biggest change for Season 2 is power-ups. Now, I have a ton of ideas to put in, but these are going to be the 3 main power-ups that I put into play. And I think we'll just stick with the 3, and we'll see how it works for the next save. But I have loads of ideas here, which could really make it interesting. Now, I want to make it clear before we go into these, that you only get to use this power-up 1 time per save. It's not once per season, it's once per save, once per the whole deal. I will give the option to buy another but it's going to cost a lot of salt. So let's get into them first. The first power-up is Get Out of Jail Free card. So everything that I just talked about with the -1 point can be bypassed by the Get Out of Jail Free card. So if you do get a red card, a suspension, an own goal, or you perform really poorly, you can drop the Get Out of Jail Free card and you don't have to get docked a point. However, if you get suspended, you still have to take that suspension on the chin. This is purely just negating the -1 that you'd have to deal with otherwise. But this is a one-time deal. Additionally, you can't play more than one power-up per season. You couldn't play all 3 of these in the same season, so use them sparingly. Be intelligent with this. Don't just throw them out for the sake of it, because other people are using them more intelligently, could put themselves into a better position as a result. Next up is the power switch. You get to switch up to 3 of one stat to another. So, let's use striker as an example. You have 6 in crossing, and you simply don't think it's realistic to keep 6 in crossing. Why would you need it? You're a striker. You can move 3 of those 6 to your finishing instead. You can end up being on 3 crossing and put those 3 into finishing. Again, it's a one-time deal. And finally, play me. This is a force your position in the team for 5 matches consecutively. So, if you feel like you're not getting enough game time and you're not getting a fair shake of things, you can drop the play me and you can force yourself in the team. It can be at any time. This overrules my opinion. This overrules whether I think you should be in the team or not. This gives you the chance to dictate your own place within the squad, but you only get to do it one time in the save. Once. Now, on top of that, because of the power of this power-up, this is a first come, first serve basis for that particular game. So you can't have multiple players saying play me, because then if we have like 3 people saying it at the same time, well, guess what? If they're all the same position, we're kind of screwed. I should also highlight that to stop trolling and people dicking around, you will play in the position that you're supposed to. So if you're like a left wing or a left back, you get to pick which of those 2 positions that you will be playing in for 5 games. But you don't get to pick any position on the pitch. Just the positions that you have signed up to play on the spreadsheet. Now you have the option to buy another. It's going to cost 50k salt for the Get Out of Jail Free card, because that's the lower tier. I would say the lower tier of these power-ups. For the play me and the power switch, it'll cost 100,000 salt. Now, no one may even buy these. And it would be understandable if they didn't, but I wanted to allow people the opportunity to at least buy them at a very, very heavy cost. So 50k, I should also add that here, plus 50k to Get Out of Jail Free cards, 100k for the other 2. Now, finally, all VODs will be uploaded to YouTube to ensure Twitch doesn't copyright strike anything. I said this in the last season, but I will start to upload all the games. Every single match of the next season will be on my YouTube channel. I want to divert a little bit of traffic across the YouTube, because you never know what's happening with Twitch with the DMCA stuff. But as a result of that, and as a result of learning a mistake from last season of burning myself out really quick, I'm going to make these episodes a lot more bite-sized in nature. I won't be running the half a season to full season in one sitting. That was ridiculous. That was 6 to 12 hour streams. And if you missed out those, you missed so much content. So instead, I'm going to try and limit myself to 3 to 5 matches per stream and per episode on YouTube. I will be titling them properly, like Season 1, Episode 1, Season 1, Episode 2, etc. So you guys know exactly where you are. And if you missed a specific episode, don't worry, you can go back and watch it. But it won't be tons and tons of hours, but actually it'll be more of like an episode of TV where you can watch for an hour or 2 hours. You can get your binge in. And if you've missed a whole season, you can go back and watch the whole season again and know exactly what's coming up. I think that's best for everyone, and that's best for me. It allows me to inject all of my energy into those episodes without feeling like I need to go on autopilot or just get through a few games because I'm tired. And therefore, because it's 5 seasons, it allows us to have this save going for a little bit longer and not overstay its welcome, but also be short and sweet enough that people really enjoy it. So there you go, guys. I don't think I've missed anything here. Anything that I have missed, though, I'll be bringing up before we do start the save. Finally, if you aren't already, it would be great if you guys could connect to Discord. This is mainly where we have all of our predictions, where we kind of throw around a lot of salt and we figure out sort of who's going to be doing what in that next save. It's really fun and interactive, and even if you're not part of the actual save itself in terms of playing, you can always be a part of the stream and be a viewer and be interactive in that way and involved in that way. So I'll link the Discord below. I'm trying to get to about 1,000 people on that Discord. I think it's 600 or 700 right now, so there's plenty of people in there. And it'll be great to see some more faces in there as well. And of course, it'd be great to see some of you hop on the stream if you get a chance. Either way, until then, I'll catch you guys later. Look after yourselves. Peace.